Hello and welcome to another very exciting edition of Talking to Famous People. I am host Eric, and I thought I'd start this afternoon's activities before I get anybody really in here, although Kiwi Sauce is here, maybe. I don't know if they're paying attention or not. But I want to talk about the INTJ personality type, because somebody in the comments asked me to spend a little bit more time talking about the INTJ. And it seems like a good way to begin today is to do so. So, the INTJ, across the board, is an interesting type. They're leading with introverted intuition, following that up with extroverted thinking, following that up with introverted feeling, and in the fourth slot they've got extroverted sensing. So, this is a type that is... they're likely to be fairly successful. They're potentially among the most brilliant of all types. And in fact, I was talking with my former debater and friend, David Dosh, and he was among the top 20 or so in the country, right? And he was partnered up with, or was in a coaching group with, to speak, a couple people were in the top 5. So, the one who was the best of those three, and both of those two I think were INTJs, but at least one of them definitely was. Which shows you that the INTJ can be a very, very effective. Now, I think that Josh was handicapped by having the kind of coach that was more well suited for an INTJ debater. Somebody really prep oriented. There's somebody who's focused on something else. One of the things that Josh complained about a little bit, talking about his experience, was the coach didn't deal with him spiritually enough. That there wasn't enough handling of his belief. And so I think the INTJ needs a little bit less of that. They don't have the FE in the mix, and they're happy to remain in a entirely abstract realm here. Hello, Raisin Day Trey. How are you today? If you'd like to turn on your microphone or camera, I'd be happy to do a one-on-one talk with you right now. If not, if you want to wait, I'm currently covering the topic of INTJs. Or if you're just here to listen, it's fine too. So, I'll continue on with the INTJs. The thing about INTJs, of course, is there are two kinds. There are the visual INTJs and the auditory INTJs, and they're going to present somewhat differently. The auditory INTJs are going to present less like a stereotypical INTJ. A stereotypical INTJ is going to speak robotically in general, or they're going to be described as such by other individuals. There's also this interesting issue of the autism spectrum, and people who are INTJs often being somewhere on the autism spectrum. In the same way that people who are ENTPs are somewhere often on the ADD spectrum. It's an odd reality that when people become, I guess what you'd call extremely imbalanced in their type presentation, then we start to think of it as a disorder. So, one thing I think is interesting to think about is that that's only a disorder in certain contexts. You know, the ADD is probably not going to get noticed in a society that requires people to be out and about and doing a lot of labor. That tends to put a handle on the ADD, right? I mean, especially if it's if it's like free and self-determined laborers. But regardless, INTJ is going to be much more well suited for an environment that allows them what debate allows them, which is a period of preparation and then go into battle. Long period of preparation, then go into battle. They're going to tend to do best then on events that are more preparation oriented. So, INTJ, they're going to run into difficulties in life when it comes to social stuff. And that's going to either be a big problem for them or not a problem for them really at all, depending on two factors. One, whether or not they're engaged in the sort of work and activities that require a lot of interactions with people. So if they are, in fact, actively doing something like teaching, it's going to be more of a challenge for them than if they're doing something like computer work. Or even something like lawyering would be a good job for an INTJ, provided, well, I mean, given that, I guess is the better way to put it, given that there's this slowness to the process that allows everything to be deliberated. I mean, the INTJ is deliberative by nature. With SE in the fourth slot, proceeding down the path is something that can sometimes give them a little bit of trouble. But I think, given that they have it in the fourth slot, they have the least fourth slot problems of anybody. They're able to get shit done. They're usually highly accomplished at the end of the day. And I'd say ENTP fourth slot SI causes ENTP a lot more problems than INTJ fourth slot SE. So let's look now at the seventh slot issue. That's where the social stuff comes in. For the INTJ, it's FE, and so that's why they appear robotic and appear not to really engage people particularly normally, I guess is the word people might use, or with a sense of subtlety regarding human interactions that other people may have, like a sense of subtext and other stuff going on, and I don't know. As with having the FI in the seventh slot, which is the ENTP's situation, they're aware of it. They understand what FE is. INTJs do. They just don't quite understand why people value it. It doesn't seem to be particularly. They see it as fake, basically. That what FE really is about perceptions, managing the perceptions of other people, that other people have of you, and that's kind of inherently a fake thing that ought not be valued very highly. So, given that we have it in the third slot, and we're not particularly strong at it either, we tend to like INTJs. We feel safe around them because we feel like we're not going to fuck up in that area. That's why, one of the reasons why I like hanging out with INTJs, aside from the fact that they're brilliant, they always have interesting things to talk about. You know, it's not like they tend to want to become homemakers, right? Not that there's anything wrong with a homemaker, and I have plenty of interesting conversations with a homemaker as well, but I suspect we'd run out of topics that we both find interesting fairly quickly. So, what else can I say about the INTJ in general? Good people, noble people. They've got a deep inner world of feelings that they are not revealing to other people. It's their role function, interestingly. And I've wondered before how it is one uses the FI as a role function. Well, I think it's about highlighting singular whole truths that have resonance uh, and ought to be respected in the face of any parsing. You know, but it's both the complement and counterbalance to any. Intuition is unique in that fashion, I think, or maybe the other ones are as well, but because it's my dominant function, I understand it better in this fashion. But that it's both its own complement and its exclusive other. So, kind of paradoxical in that regard. You can only be conscious of one, but they complement each other. So, the extent to which you can allow your unconscious and your conscious to coordinate and bring both into play, you're much better off. And I think that the most effective INTJs do exactly that. They have a remarkable insight about possibilities, even though that's not their dominant conscious function. It's their fifth slot function, and that fifth slot function is something that you're going to be increasingly good at as you get older, increasingly come to value as the complement of your dominant function. So that's my thoughts on INTJs. Cool people. I love hanging out with them. I love talking with them. And I've got several INTJ friends. I mean, mostly internet friends, but I've got one real life as well. And that's about all I have to say about the INTJs. Rock on, INTJs. Mega Bro, of course, to me is the almost the archetype of the INTJ, floating around out there in the ether, dropping little bombs on people occasionally. What? You think about that. So, you know, he's a good representative for your type. He's super cool, and in my head, he's kind of like the archetype for your type. Thanks for watching, and have a very pleasant afternoon.